Hello and welcome back to Larkin Design. And so I'm Theresa Moxley and welcome to my week 1 of Project Life Project 52 album for this year. And so in my last video I had shown you some examples of what I'm hoping to do with my album, and I had talked through my process sort of what I'm hoping to do in my memory keeping this year. And so what I wanted to do today is just sort of walk you through what my process is for creating my layouts with the Project Life app and the Project 52 products that are available digitally on your iPhone. And so I just wanted to say a note about the Project Life app. Obviously it is available for iPhone right now, and they're still working on releasing it for Android. But I wanted to say a couple of things. First off, this is, let's see, this is the app itself. Are you done editing this page? Yes. Okay. This is the home screen when you come into the Project Life app. And I know it's going to be jumpy on the screen, so I'm not going to really walk you through it. Becky Higgins has a great tutorial for how to walk through the Project Life app on her blog, and so I'll link up with that. But I did just want to say how super easy and super user-friendly it is to just pull up your layout and put in the cards and the photos that you want to use from your phone. Now, I'm doing this, once a week, and then printing here at my house. And, not everybody has a large format printer, so I'm well aware of that. I'm just showing you what my process is. You definitely can send these layouts to your favorite print shop. I highly recommend Persnickety Prints for that. They're quick and they're very, very, very scrapbooker friendly. If you need a resource for printing out larger 12 by 12 layouts. But I do have a wide format printer, and it's something that I saved up for and invested in and have not regretted it. So this is just my process for how I use my printer to print out my 12 by 12 layouts and then get them scrapped and in the albums. So this is my first layout for 2016, and first off, I learned a couple of things about printing these out. For my large format printer, I have both glossy cardstock and matte cardstock, and so the great decision lies in, do I use glossy or do I use matte? And that's really a personal preference kind of thing. I have to say that I really like having my photos in a glossy print. But glossy photo paper in 13 by 19 is also a bit more expensive than the matte cardstock. So I have to weigh the cost versus the advantage versus, what is my end goal. And I honestly found that once I printed out the layouts and put them in my pocket pages, you really couldn't tell which ones were printed out on glossy and which ones were printed out on matte. But here's what I let be my deciding factor for this, just from a cost standpoint. I realized that, and this layout taught me this, if I'm going to print a 6 by 12 photo, then I'm going to need 13 by 19 paper. So it makes sense if the layout has a 6x12 photo, it makes sense to go ahead and print it on the glossy cardstock all on one layout and then be done with it. Now, when I printed this, I didn't have, this was a picture I had on my computer and not on my phone. So just ignore this part, because this is, I just, because I was doing several at a time and I wanted to mark which photo I was putting here, I took a picture of the picture on my computer and then just dropped it in there in the app. And then later I was like, why didn't I just do that in Photoshop once I went to print it? Because for me personally, after I have a batch of layouts, I think I did 4 or 5 at a time. So once I did those in the app, then I saved them and brought them into Photoshop and laid them out on the paper in Photoshop and printed them out. And so there's a couple of reasons why I did that. One was because I had this photo on my computer. And so now I know what I can do. You can either leave this block blank in the app before you save your image, or you can, I took a picture of a white card and saved that in my camera roll so that I know when I want to print out the picture separate, I just have a white space there. And the reason why that is because if my photos aren't 12 inches, then I'm going to print my photos on glossy photo paper, or you can have them printed and print the rest of the layout on the matte cardstock, which is cheaper. So those are just a really long-winded way of me saying there are ways to economize your printing on this if you're printing it at home. And if you decide that you want glossy photos and you want to just have the whole thing printed on glossy photo paper, that's okay too. A note about adding your embellishments and stuff on top. Obviously, if you use glossy cardstock, you're going to want to use StazOn ink for your stamping. So, that being said, I'm going to go and trim this down, and then I'll be right back and we'll keep going on layering some embellishments on there. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, so I've got these cut and ready to go. I'm getting ready to round those corners and glue that down, and then we'll start embellishing. So I did invest in the official Becky Higgins corner rounder. I swore I wasn't going to do this because at first I thought, you know, it really does not matter if your photos are a different corner round shape than your journaling cards. It really doesn't matter. But then I had a coupon, so I got it, and now I have a total of 4 corner rounders now. Yay! So there we go. I'm gonna take this down really quick, and I'm just using basic red line tape. This is labeled or branded under the American Crafts Sticky Thumb brand now, and so I always keep this on hand. I find that this is the best adhesive for gluing down photos and slick surfaces, transparencies, and anytime that I've been working with December Daily and another mini album recently, and so that's just been a staple that I tend to use in my mini albums, just to feel like it's getting a little more staying power in adhesive. So that's my go-to for these big pieces like this. Now, this photo that I'm using right now, I took this during the month of December when my husband and I were at Renona House, and that was documented in my December daily. And so my plan is to use this slate as a backdrop for writing. So I'm going to grab my pen, and I'm going to journal that, and I'm going to just speed up the video a little bit because I'm going to write from stream of consciousness, and which is basically just, I know sort of what I want to write, but not exactly. I don't have it planned out. I'm just going to write what comes to me. And what I think about when I see, I like to take pictures of our feet wherever we are. It's sort of just a split second of our lives. And so I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back and we'll start working with those cards. Alright, so that journaling is done. Now, of course, I could have done that in Photoshop, and someone else might have wanted to do that in white, and that would have been okay too. White would have helped that pop a little bit, but I also wanted a little bit of contrast here. This side is very, very white, and we're getting ready to, I'm going to break that up a little bit with some of the embellishments, but this side is sort of a little bit more monochromatic, and maybe a little bit more melancholy feeling, and so it is sort of a transition from old to new. And so there's a couple of spots here that I want to add some things. Right now I know that I need a 2016 here on this journaling card, and I also want to do a little bit of stamping underneath here, and I left space here and down here to add a few things, just a little bit of happiness in those little spots. That's really all I'm going to do. So I'm still working with my Gossamer Blue kit. I haven't gotten January's yet. So I'm still working with December's, and I'm just going to pull out a couple of the things that I want to use. And I'm basically, the only color, well, there's two little spots of color here. There's a little navy and mint, and a little bit of this coral color, which I love, and then the pink in the pink and the mint again in my tennis shoes. And that's one of the reasons why I chose that card, was because it had that little touch of mint. And we're going to repeat that mint color probably down here. That's going to help me make the decision of what to put in this block. because repeating that mint is fantastic, but repeating it in threes is awesome. So I'm just, pardon me while I go off screen here a minute and find some of these other things. All right, so there's an alphabet that does not have numbers. So I've got to find numbers. That one doesn't have numbers either. There were no numbers in this Gossamer Blue kit, I don't think. Okay, so that's fine. I have the boodles of thickers. I'll be right back. All right, so just an easy, simple decision. These Dear Lizzie gold they're gonna be the numbers that I'm gonna use right there. So let me lay those down real quick. And here's where I'm introducing gold. And typically on every layout that I do, I'm sort of choosing a color scheme, and I'm also going to choose numbers or a glittery or sparkly accent, either gold or silver. So this layout is going to be gold. I have these other gold stickers here that might come in handy to use, and also this has gold in it, so that will be repeated again around the page. And that's sort of some of my design process. Something that's, you know, colorful and something that's sparkly. And of course New Year's needs, New Year, new layout needs something sparkly on it. So that's the date, pretty simple. And I want to work on these two spaces. I'm thinking about using that actually. So let me grab that. Just that right there, yeah. And I'm going to just line it up over top of that first sentence. Nothing very complicated. All right. There we go. And then we're going to do something here. I'm having a hard time opening this. Alright, there we go. Note to self, take everything out of the packages before you do these videos. Okay, I'm just going to set that aside. Done with those. And here we go. I've got a couple of options here. Take that off of there. We're going to use some more of those puffy stickers around on the layout. But I'm really kind of liking this little banner. So let's do that. Ay, ay, ay. Some days the packages don't want to open and the stickers don't want to come up. Okay, here we go. And I'm just going to center that. Okay, now what I'm doing here is there's a couple of visual triangles going on here. This, and this. And also this, and we'll have another repeat of those, of that mint color down here. Probably something to do with this alphabet and this tape. In fact, let me see here. Before I jump around, just put one or two of these little stars over here. I'm going to put the first one right there, and then another one going off of that little banner. I like to do these little things in threes. So there's 1, 2, and then I'll do another one right there. Then I'm going to do a heart over there. Okay. That went on crooked. There we go. Okay. Now, we'll move over here, and there's a couple, you know, that mint color is in this little washi tape pack. So, ooh, there's an M too. Our last name is Moxley. So this is a good place to add a little M for that. There we go. Okay, it's just the little tiny things, right? The rest of this is talking, it says, let's see where this year takes us, okay? And then the caption is right here, right now. So I'm just looking to see what ties in with that. Maybe just this. I don't know. Should that? I'm debating on whether that should have text on it or whether it should just be a pattern. This is, well, here's a happy little, this is a happy little floral. And I don't have any other patterns on here. So let's pick this one. And again, nothing is wanting to come up for me today. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to lay that down. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay. And like, that's really simple right there. Normally I would say, do I need to add something on top of that? But I think I'm going to leave it like that for now, and maybe we'll revisit it. Now, the question is, I'm going to leave that one for a second, because this is in sort of an odd space. It's in the middle of the layout, so anything that, I want your eye to go around the layout, so anything that's in there is going to interrupt that. So I'm not going to worry about that just yet. But I do have a couple of things that I want to do here. These are all so cute. Let's see. I'm debating between doing just a little banner up here, because I know I want to stamp some sentiments here. And actually, that little bird, this little bird actually ties a lot of my layouts together. I've long been a collector of bird stamps and little bird elements. So he kind of ties it, she kind of ties in with this. So I think I'm just going to set her down right there. Yeah, do it. Go for it. Okay. You know, the embarrassing thing about doing these videos as I'm creating is that you get to see just exactly how indecisive I am. And that's why I don't do a lot of them as I create. So anyway, I'm going in search of my little stamp that came with this kit. So hold on while I dig off camera. I got the little 7, I think it's a Studio Calico, this little element stamp. Okay, And so what I'm going to do is, this is just little sayings, and it says happy heart, autumn, autumn does not apply, family, giving thanks, sweater weather, what's that one? Noted? Noted with a symbol on it. I don't know. That's a little tiny date element. This. Thank you for the, and stars. Gratitude, and then thankful for you. So that takes us all the way around. Yeah, I've got stars here, so I think I'm going to stamp those little stars, and I'm going to use navy. I've kind of been, this midnight blue StazOn has been kind of my go-to recently. I don't know why. I usually use black, but navy's been a nice little staple recently. So anyway, and it makes sense here to pull that in. And I'm going to just sort of randomly do this. There we go. Nothing really intentional. Whoops, I got the edge on there. Heh, now my thumb is blue. So here's Adventures in Stamping with Theresa. And one more. Okay, and I think I'm going to do one up there. Well, okay, hold on. Let me decide what I'm going to do in that corner first. This is where I have to decide. Do I like that enough to use it or not? Is there something that might be better up there? There's a couple of banners in this little set. Those are kind of colorless though. Okay, I don't know. There's nothing really that's exciting me in that. And maybe this little polka dot is kind of cute. Now, something is starting to happen here with this card, because there's a lot of the coral and pink. And that's okay, because there's coral and pink here. There's a little bit of that, I guess, coral color right there. But somehow I'm going to have to tie the mint and the navy with the coral and the pink all together. Some kind of element is needed. So I'm going to go digging again. I have not opened this little Maggie Holmes Shine pack, but this might be exactly where I have to go to start tying in, bring all the colors together. This little tape actually is really good for that too, to bring, because they're two different, sort of on the opposite ends of the color wheel kind of colors. Okay, just tear into it. Heh. Time to open it. Right. There, I did it. I opened it, I'm using it. Okay, so I'm gonna flip these out like that. Okay, there we go. I'll get a iris case. Actually, I have a shine iris case somewhere, so that'll go in there later. But for right now, this little issue. how, looks good. Yeah, like that. I think I've used that. I used that in a in my fall album. Yeah, I had this kit. I had this little pack already. But that's okay, because it's a really, this one is worth having twice. I will tell you that. I really kind of like that flower, but I know it doesn't have a bit of teal on it. Or mint, or navy. I don't even know what I'm saying here. Okay. There's that. I kind of like, I don't need text. I don't need something with text. I have several elements here on this layout that have text. So, and I think that's what draws me to this floral, because it is just a happy design element, but I don't think it works. I'm wondering about just a little banner here, and is there an arrow on here? No, there's not an arrow on here. I'm just trying to think of what might be some kind of little embellishment to add on top of this before I commit to using that. There's that. I could. I don't know that I really like that with that, actually. Okay. My indecisiveness. Help me, help me. Okay. What about something on this memorandum paper? Okay. So there's a couple of options on here. I thought about it because it has this floral which repeats that floral there, but of course this part has none of the mint or teal in it. How very helpful. Not. So what I think I might do, because there's this little piece right here that has the teal, and I've got a little banner right here that has the pink, and so I might create just a little strip kind of element there. I should go over and trim this on my trimmer, but who's got time for that? So anyway, I'm just going to cut this out real quick. It's a real rough cut, and that's okay too, because I'm going to just distress that edge. Okay, so that's out of there. That's my distress edge. Now, if I knew where my little Tim Holtz distressor was, I would be using that, but I don't know where it is, so here we go. I'm just gonna rough this up a little bit, because, you know, every layout needs a little rough edge. And then we're gonna cut that. So I don't want it to be too big here. And I'm liking that darker and the lighter. I'm not sure about the gray, but we're going to cover that gray up. Okay, do it. Go for it. And that's just going to go there. And then I'm going to use this. These stickers on this MME sheet they're almost not cut well enough. Okay, I need those where I can see them. So I did this in the fall mini album that I made. I just used a couple of little paper strips. This is an easy way to use up those little bottom of the page strips that come on your pattern papers, to just make a little layering piece. There's too much of that white left on the edge, so I'm going to cut that off and do that over again. I did this over and over again in my fall mini album, where I just made little basic pieces like that, just to accent an edge. And this is like a little bit too tall for what I want, so I'm going to trim that off and just hold on to that right there. And yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it like that. And then let's stress that again. There we go. And there. I'm also trying to raise that up just a little bit on the sticker. And this provides a nice little contrast actually on this layout. Now I need my little tape runner. I'm going to just put a little bit of tape across there. I'm going to put this inside the boundary of this journaling card. Now there's a design decision that's being made here. If I let this go off into the gray border, then I would probably feel like I needed to repeat that down here. But I don't want to repeat anything else down here. So I'm going to keep that within the constraints of this card. And I'm actually really happy with that. I'm going to add, I've got these little arrows, and just to add a little bit something else. There we go. And one more. Okay. There. All right. And so one thing that I had I like that. We've got a nice little circle here of mint going on, and I like that. We've also got a nice triangle of pink, and we've got a lovely triangle of gold. And one thing that I really like about this is that this is really a separate grouping, but it's tied together because the little wings from the bird overlap. If that bird was completely on this journaling card, it would not link that text quite the way it does. So I'm really happy with how that sort of ties this together. There's just one more little thing that I want to do, and I had used this little transparency. This transparency is not in the Gossamer Blue kit. And I don't think that I've peeled the back off of it yet. Whoops. Yeah. So, yeah, somewhere, wherever I've used this before, it still has the backing on it. Ha! Anyway, you know, every layout that I do a kit with, that I use a kit with, always has to have one little element that isn't in the kit. But I have held this little strip because I want to use it right there. And I also think that I'm going to use a little bit right there too. So I'm going to trim this in half and I'll be right back. Okay, so what that gives me is this little strip of hearts. There. And then I'm just looking at what's going on this card. And then this. And I'm debating whether I want the textured side up or the textured side down. I don't know that it really matters. Theresa, stop overthinking things. Okay. Here we go. So, the decision that has to be made now is, am I going to just make this a part of the washi strip, or am I going to take it all the way across the page? And there's pros and cons for either one. And there's also no going wrong. I mean, you have gold glitter hearts on transparency, so there's like no wrong decision here. But what do I want to do? How do I want this to look? I feel like this one needs to go across the page or go across the card because it is the only element that's on this card. And like, I like that. I kind of like that. And I kind of like the fact that that they're going off the card. I don't know if that's a wise design decision or not. So go back to this one. Okay. Here's where I have to tell myself, stop thinking about it and just do what comes to you. So this one I know for sure that I don't want all of them. Do I want this? I feel like it needs to be off of the maybe offset a little bit. Here. I like that. Still got this little thing here. And I just wonder, I'm thinking about tying these two together somehow. Put that little strip that was left over from that, and then put those two, where's that? Just like that, or underneath. Oh, the decisions. Goodness gracious. Okay. Here's where scrapbooking with me becomes excruciating. There. I'm ready to be done with this layout. So, let me trim that down a little bit more. That's just a little bit too much. Okay. And then I'm going to grab some glue dots to put these down with. Where did they go? Actually, this needs to be trimmed down just a little bit more because it's just too much on the page. Okay. And you know what? This is great. I've been wondering, you know, how am I going to still keep my transparent elements on these 12 by 12 layouts that don't have pockets. And here you go. Here's how I'm going to keep using my transparencies. Okay. Because if you followed me for any amount of time by now, you know that I really do love to use transparencies. I really love this one. Okay. Trim this one down just a little bit more. Just because the extra on this makes another visual line on here that can be distracting. So there we go. Now you could punch these little hearts out and use them that way. That would be really cute too. But I ain't got time to worry about that today. So here we go. There's that. Let me put those to the side. And alright, that's done. So here we go. Let me clear everything up. And with that, my friends, the first layout is done. Alright. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm going to link up everything, the resources in my blog. I'll also link up Becky Higgins' website and Gossamer Blues website in my blog. So feel free to check that out at larkindesign.squarespace.com. And I hope that you'll hit subscribe. Please leave me a comment and tell me what you think about this, and tell me what you think about the Project 52 app. Alright, and then after you do all that, go, do, and create, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.